Hello, and welcome to Every Persona Explained, where we take a look at the origin and representation of every persona. And today, we're talking about Mara. You know, I knew we were going to get here eventually. Alright, let's do this. Mara is a demon from Buddhist tradition, where he's known as the Lord of Desire. If you've seen my Gira Makala video, then some of this is going to sound familiar. A young prince named Siddhartha Gautama leaves his cushy palace life and learns that reality has a bunch of bad stuff like disease and hunger and death, causing him to have a massive existential crisis. So he decides to meditate on the meanings of life, death, suffering, casual stuff. And he does a real good job at it as he starts getting really close to enlightenment. This wasn't cool with Mara, who thought that he was the only one worthy of enlightenment. In a few of the stories, Mara sends his 3 daughters to try and stop Siddhartha from reaching enlightenment. I saw one version where the daughters were very beautiful and tried to tempt him in that way, and another where they represented various desires to try to tempt him. Either way, they were unsuccessful, and Mara tried to intervene himself. When he and his giant one-eyed elephant, no, that's not a euphemism, confronted Siddhartha and stated that he was more worthy of enlightenment, and that all of his demons vouched for him. Siddhartha said, "I bet," and touched his fingers to the ground, saying that the earth will speak for me. And boy did it! The earth let out a mighty shout in approval of Siddhartha, scattering or killing Mara and his army. And that's it, right? Mara is an evil demon thing that tried to stop the Buddha from reaching enlightenment and got wrecked for his troubles. Well, no. Buddhism is thousands of years old and involves people, so of course it's going to be more complicated than that. From what I've read, the demon Mara is, at least somewhat, metaphorical. He represents desire of all kinds. Not just sexual, but thirst, desire for money, stuff like that. To this end, there are 4 or 5 different versions of Mara, depending on who you ask. Now, with all the lists I found, none of them were wholly consistent on what these desires are. And that makes perfect sense. Each person will have different desires, so not having a solid list that applies to everyone just fits. There's also the phrase, "I see you, Mara," which is a thing you're supposed to say when you realize you're being tempted by something. This is used to try and help fight off your own personal Maras. And that's Mara, the desire demon that would probably get along well with Sanguine. So, how's this in-game representation? Alright, let's talk about the penis monster. Before I started researching, I thought that since Mara is the Lord of Desire, the designers went with the common modern meaning of desire as sexual desire, and that's why he looks like he does. Yeah, I was wrong. Apparently, in Japan, the word Mara is a slang term for penis, and that's why he looks like that. Now, culturally speaking, Japan just has a different relationship with phalluses than we do in the West. In fact, there's a related shrine and festival in the city of Kawasaki in Kanagawa Prefecture called the Kanamara Matsuri. Okay, well, what about the rest of the design? Well, it's got tentacles. This is Japan, I don't need to explain why those are here. The chariot, I'm not so sure on. Mara has a mount, Yuramakala, but that's not what's happening here. Maybe the blades on the front are supposed to represent how dangerous Mara is? And the golden chariot is for how gold is highly desirable by many people? I'm not sure. Mara is categorized in the Tower Arcana, and aside from innuendo, Tower Upright can represent chaos. I think it could be argued that Mara acting against the Buddha was very much an act of chaos, so that works. Reversed, it can mean vanity. Mara thought he was the only one worthy of enlightenment. He sounds like someone who would have a picture of himself on his bedside table. In its movesets, it generally has fire moves. Insert STD joke here. In FES, he gets Primal Force and Myriad Arrows, which are piercing moves. In Q1, he gets more stabbing moves. However, Myriad Arrows now has low accuracy. Insert can't get it in joke here. And in P5 in Royale, he gets a number of moves like Charge, Heat Up, and One-Shot Kill. This is a setup to a joke that's so easy I'm not going to make it. He's in Q2 as well, but with almost exclusively fire moves. His trait is Mighty Gaze, which is kind of whatever, but when itemized it becomes the skill card for Mapsiodyne or Psychoforce. Both of these grant skills that do psychic damage. This reflects the fact that if you look at Mara for too long, you'll start taking psychic damage. Overall, not that great. While I respect how they ran with the joke, the Lord of Desire has so much more potential than just a joke, and I feel like it could be really, really cool. But according to this poll that I found, Mara is the most popular demon in the SMT series, so what do I know? You know, it's a good thing I did this video when I did, because there is no way, if this channel was monetized, this would be monetized. I know in P5 it had that, like, smaller form, but I couldn't really find anything to say about it. It's just, like, Mara baby form, which is really weird. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know who you want to see next. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'm probably not going to be using Twitter because of the absolute mess that Twitter is still. And I'll see you next time on Every Persona Explained.